Please give it up for Elon Musk. Elon, welcome to AI Startup School. We're just really, really blessed to have your presence here today.
Thanks for having me.
So, from SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, XAI, and more, was there ever a moment in your life before all this where you felt, I have to build something great? And what flipped that switch for you?
Well, I didn't originally think I would build something great. I wanted to try to build something useful, but I didn't think I would build anything particularly great because probabilistically it seemed unlikely, but I wanted to at least try.
So you're talking to a room full of people who are all technical engineers, often some of the most eminent AI researchers coming up in the game.
Okay. I like the term engineer better than researcher, because, I mean, I suppose if there's some fundamental algorithmic breakthrough, it's research, but otherwise it's engineering.
But when you first, maybe let's start way back. When you were, this is a room full of 18 to 25-year-olds. It skews younger because the founder set is younger and younger. Can you put yourself back into their shoes when you were 18, 19, learning to code, even coming up with the first idea for Zip2? What was that like for you?
Well, it's kind of echoey. Yeah, back in '95, I was faced with a choice of either do grad studies, PhD at Stanford in material science, actually working on ultracapacitors for potential use in electric vehicles, essentially trying to solve the range problem for electric vehicles, or try to do something in this thing that most people have never heard of called the internet. And I talked to my professor, who was Bill Nix, in the material science department, and said, could I defer for a quarter because this will probably fail, and then I'll need to come back to college. And then he said, this is probably the last conversation we'll have, and he was right. But I thought things would most likely fail, not that they would most likely succeed. And then in '95, I wrote basically, I think, the first or close to the first maps, directions, internet, white pages and yellow pages on the internet. I just wrote that personally, and I didn't use a web server. I just read the code directly because I couldn't afford, couldn't afford a T1. Original office was on Sherman Avenue in Palo Alto. There was an ISP on the floor below, so I drilled a hole through the floor and just ran a LAN cable directly to the ISP. My brother joined me and another co-founder, Greg Curry, who passed away, and at the time we couldn't even afford a place to stay, so the office was $500 a month, so we just slept in the office and then showered at the YMCA on Pageville and El Camino. I guess we ended up doing a little bit of a useful company, Zip2 in the beginning. We did build a lot of really good software technology, but we were somewhat captured by the legacy media companies, and that Night Rooter, New York Times, The Hearst, whatnot, were investors and customers, and also on the board. So they kept wanting to use our software in ways that made no sense. So I wanted to go directly to consumers. Anyway, it's a long story, dwelling too much on Zip2, but I really just wanted to do something useful on the internet. Because I had two choices, do a PhD and watch people build the internet, or help build the internet in some small way. And I was like, well, I guess I can always try and fail and then go back to grad studies. And anyway, that ended up being like reasonably successful. Sold for like $300 million, which was a lot at the time. These days, that's like, I think the minimum impulse bid for an AI startup is like $1 billion. It's like there's so many freaking unicorns. It's like a herd of unicorns at this point. You know, unicorns $1 billion situation.
There's been inflation since, so quite a bit more money actually.
Yeah, I mean, like 1995, you could probably buy a burger for a nickel. Well, not quite, but I mean, yeah, there has been a lot of inflation. The hype level on AI is pretty intense, as you've seen. You see companies that are, I don't know, less than a year old getting sometimes billion-dollar or multi-billion-dollar valuations, which I guess could pan out and probably will pan out in some cases. But it is eye-watering to see some of these valuations. Yeah, what do you think?
I mean, well, I'm pretty bullish. I'm pretty bullish, honestly. So I think the people in this room are going to create a lot of the value that 1 billion people in the world should be using this stuff, and we're scratching the surface of it. I love the internet story in that